All right, so let's start having a conversation with the angel Jophiel, okay? Now, this chart is linked to a lot of different cosmic properties, not only the chakras, not only Antojai, not only like cosmology and tantra, but it's also associated to specific deities and specific angels as well, okay? So one of the things that you're going to be noticing as we dive into this is that you're going to be able to actually have a full-fledged conversation through this chart with the beings that I'm bringing to your attention. Now, don't forget that if you haven't done the Star of Lakshmi exercise, it's very important that you do that because you can unlock even more. Because every one of these centers on the inside means something special to each person. So on the Victory Center here, as you can see, I have a miniature one that's filled out. It means purity for me on this sector. So I know that when I'm asking a specific question here, it's going to be geared towards the topic of purity in my life because that's victory. Now, we're going to go ahead and look at the elements that are associated to the alchemy of Jophiel. We have the fire element here. So this whole entire section is going to be associated to Jophiel. This section right here is going to be associated to Tiferet. Tiferet is not only just this section over here, but he is also the entire star of Lakshmi itself. Not the circle, but the actual star itself here is Tiferet. So Tiferet is this whole entire section. Tiferet in a way is the sum of all the parts of the star of Lakshmi, as well as the information that you're going to be pulling off of Michael and all the other solar deities that are specifically tied to Tiferet. So anytime you pull cards here, and it doesn't matter to what deity or what consciousness you're talking to, if you're not asking a specific question like, okay, how do I bring more beauty into my life, or how do I become more conscious of beauty, right? If you're not asking like a specific question that way, you're always just going to be getting the most immediate advice or information that Jophiel or Tiferet are giving you specifically, right? So it's very custom and in the moment, right? If you want to know something particularly, you want to go ahead and address that. Otherwise, it doesn't really come up in conversation. You can use oracle or tarot when you're having a conversation with any of the deities. So what we're going to be doing is pulling a card out for every sector here. So one here, one here, one here, one in this blank space. And I know that in this blank space we have karma, artha, moksha, and dharma on the outer centers. Even though you don't have something in these outer corners right here, the information is still kind of like a bonus piece of information that you can draw. Then we have this one. Always at the end, we can pull one final card and flip the entire deck over so we can have a deeper understanding as to what our soul wealth is. Remember, soul wealth is also a personalized vibration for you. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to demonstrate it for you real quick. I have my deck shuffled already. You can too. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull out a card here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then on the final one, I'm just going to flip this one right here. And I'm going to take the entire deck, flip it, and I'm going to read this right here. Now, all the energies that we're going to be reading here are going to be coming from the information of Jophiel, and it's also going to be giving us some sort of guidance. So since we didn't have like a particular question, I just grab them all over, flip them over like that. The fire element, this always indicates your creation or the things that you want to be burning away, the things you want to be destroying. In this case, it'll be this card here, don't have too much burden. On this chakra right here, this is your rebirth and recreation area. So these are things that are going to help you get ascended when you actually complete them. So you need to walk away from things that don't serve you anymore. This area right here is associated to your taste with the Eye of Horus. The taste has to do with your throat chakra or your authenticity and your shadow, right? So focusing on what is really valuable here will open up that doorway. This is a bonus question. This would be the card that is directed here. And then my victory area, which is telling me purity. Ultimately, it's a purity of consciousness that has to be attained. When it comes to the soul wealth, I need to meditate a little bit more on strength. This right here is your key to be focusing on whatever your first question was when we asked like what should our main focus be, right? So we started off this series asking what's the main focus, and we put that main focus here, which is your soul purpose, your dharma. Now we're talking to different deities and different angels that are going to help us get closer to your soul purpose on this area, starting off with Jophiel. You can go ahead and pull out another deck if you wanted to. I'll give you one great example. This is not really an oracle deck or a tarot deck, but I could shuffle this deck and be like, okay, well, I still need more information. And I'd say that right here, this is the advice that Jophiel is telling me. I can pull a different deck and say, okay, well, how do I apply this into my life? And I can start having a conversation with Jophiel. So then I just do the same process. One card for every card that is already existing. And as I do that, you'll have a total of 5 cards here. I'll go ahead and pull out the card that matches this. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull out the bottom card, just put it at the top and put it here. And this will give you more and more information on a particular topic. This is how you have conversations with deities and with different beings through this chart.